The Fox City SCORE chapter and WHBY are pleased to bring you Biz Talk, a chance for you to hear from entrepreneurs and professionals as they share their experiences from starting to sustaining growth. Learn the skills needed for your business to be successful. If you missed anything, you can catch the Biz Talk podcast at biztalkwithscore.com. And now from the Myron Construction Studio, it's Biz Talk on WHBY.
Good morning and welcome to Biz Talk with Score. Thank you for joining us this Saturday morning. My name is Terry Pinch, and joining me as co-host this week is Rick Sentz. Rick, how are you this week?
I'm doing well, Terry. I'm doing well.
Excellent. And this week we're going to be talking to Jennifer Phillibeck and Mandy Rinne from Empowered Minds Kids Studio. So, Jennifer and Mandy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Before we get into Empowered Minds, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Let's start with Jen.
Yeah, well, so Mandy and I want to jump right into how Mandy and I met because I think that that's a kind of a great story. So we started teaching together over at North Greenville Elementary School, and we instantly clicked. You know, we were passionate teachers, but we really saw that we had a similarity with how we connected with kids and kind of just our relationship building skills. So we were experienced educators, over 35 years of combined teaching experience between the two of us. And we loved, like I said, connecting and building relationships with our students. But over time, we saw that there was a growing need that we just could not meet in the classroom as teachers alone. So they needed more guidance in building resilience and confidence and essential life skills to be able to truly thrive. So that realization brought us to where we are here. We decided that we wanted to take our passion outside of the classroom and start Empowered Minds Kids Studio.
Okay. And when you started to think about the studio and how it would work, how'd you put your ideas together to say this is what it's going to look like? Did you have a series of meetings? Did you just talk continually over coffee and other beverages, or how did it happen?
We do like coffee. That's a fact. Jen actually, after she had left teaching in 2020, she had taken a break and started to do some research and discovered that kids life coaching was an option. And she started this training through a international program. And she kept sending me all this information over and over. And she's like, it sounds like you have to do this. And I was like, girl, I've been teaching for 20 years. That's what I'm going to do. But we met.
I was very persistent. There was lots of dinners. There was lots of coffee meetups. There was lots of screenshot texting and late hours. And, like this is something that we really, really need to explore. And I knew I was going to do it no matter what. Like that. I was all in. I was going to start a studio and it was going to be a thing, but I knew that I needed Mandy to be by my side doing it, that it would be more dynamic if it was the two of us.
So I had decided to sign up for the program, and I was only going to use that information in the classroom to build social emotional learning. And I was really excited. And then I started going through the training and I got the certification, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to jump ship and I'm going to join you. So that's kind of, where we came from. So we had a strong foundation in our training, about some of the background that is needed for kids life coaching, and being former teachers, we absolutely had a really good idea about what kids needed, and so we have created this beautiful space for children and families. We are play-based, which is really exciting because we know that kids learn best through play. So yeah, it's those foundational skills, and then those things that have truly made it ours.
Describe for our listeners what exactly kids life coaching is.
Absolutely. So we like to think of kids life coaching as being kind of like that mentor, that coach, that like that village feeling that every parent family needs, or every kiddo needs, that like cheerleader supporter that's helping you really tap into like your best qualities and your best traits that really are within you, but you maybe don't know are there. You don't know how to tap into them yourself. So for kids, a lot of times that's just like helping them see those really amazing qualities that they have. Maybe they have some struggles or some challenges. Maybe it might be like that self-confidence or that attention and focus or the anxiety piece that's kind of holding them back or making them feel like they have like limitations. So kids life coaching is helping them to see like, no, you have like these superpowers within you, and we're going to help you learn how to use those to the best of your ability and to thrive and to feel really successful in everything that you're doing so that they can truly be the leaders of their own lives. So yeah, that's a little bit of a nutshell of what kids life coaching is. But like Mandy said, being teachers forever and also moms ourselves, we know that kids do not learn best when they are sitting still and being talked at. So everything that we do in kids life coaching is play-based. We're doing science experiments. We're doing physical movements. We're engaging in a lot of play. And fun, tons of fun, because that's how we know their connections are going to be able to be made, and they're going to be able to learn new habits and life skills that will click and sink in when they are engaged and fully excited about what they're learning.
So one thing that both of you mentioned earlier was this international designation of the work that you did to learn more about life coaching. So how prevalent is the idea of kids life coaching in the United States?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually really becoming much more prevalent. And like the program that we went through, there was coaches in I think like 65 different countries, and we would meet on like either a Tuesday or a Thursday in a Zoom meeting, and we would get to connect with all these coaches from all around the world and hear about, you know, what best practices they were doing in their coaching sessions and the things that they were seeing, to be able to collaborate. And that was really, really helpful, has been helpful for both of us. But as far as in the United States, obviously in our area, it's not as prevalent. In some of the bigger cities, there's definitely more availability for coaching. But I feel like it's kind of something it's on the rise, definitely, as life coaches in general, even like adult life coaches is on the rise. The kids life coaching is definitely picking up more.
Okay. So you decide you want to be a kids life coach, but neither of you have run a business before. How did you go out and learn about running a business? Given that you're teachers, I have a pretty good idea where that would lead, but why or how did you do that, go about learning about a business, how to run a business?
Yeah, so Jen and I are both very, I want to say passionate and driven. And so we don't let anything keep us down. So when this dream was planted, we absolutely were all in, and failure was not an option. So we did a lot of research, networking.
So much research.
Networking has been so critical. Just putting ourselves out there, meeting people that have already, paved the business path before us. And asking questions, because we aren't the experts in that. So being open to learning, Jen signed up for a SCORE mentor right away so that we could start learning the foundational things that we needed to run a business.
And honestly, just truly, like in every conversation, I feel like I started off with, so I'm really new to all of this. So I don't know the questions I'm supposed to be asking, because if you don't know, you don't know what questions to be asking. So can you tell me what I should be asking you right now? And honestly, people have been so supportive and so encouraging, and understanding of like, yeah, when you're new, you don't really know what to be asking or what you are missing. So just kind of helping us like fill in the gaps and just kind of leading the way. And that has been really, really helpful.
Okay. So, first, I guess before I go on, I should mention Monica Dubert has been your mentor. I want to make sure we get that in. So she's
Yes.
been working with you. You've been open for about a year now, and so I assume she started a few months before that.
Oh yeah, right away. Like I think we started meeting probably in March of the last year, so really, really early on.
Okay.
And she was so helpful in just all of those beginning things that I wasn't really sure about. She kind of helped lay them out very clearly.
Okay. So let's talk then about, if you're starting to learn about running a business, how did you decide on how you're going to manage all the administrative aspects, the bookkeeping, the legal, the insurance, all the other stuff, and what steps did you take to make those happen?
So a little bit of, I guess, going back. So Mandy was still teaching last year. So we started in February. So I basically started the business while Mandy was teaching, and she would do all the things that she could do after school. And, when we would have events and all the planning and all the supporting in that way. But it was kind of like all right, I'm going to figure all this stuff out because I'm just going to do it. So, a lot of that, figuring out the insurance, it was asking a lot of questions, figuring out, okay, what are the options, going that route. So some of those things kind of just, I just took on the taxing. So I had done QuickBooks before, so I just figured out how to do QuickBooks. And then it was the social media, and I was like, oh, I don't really like social media. So I was like, Mandy, how about you are in charge of social media? So we kind of just use what our strengths are. So I'm more of the math numbers girl, spreadsheet.
Absolutely, you are.
So that just tends to be I just take on those things. And it has kind of just been this evolution of, knowing each other really well and knowing what my strength areas are and what her strength areas are. And so we kind of just delegate, tasks that way. And so far, yeah, that was a concern actually in the very beginning of well, how are we going to know who's going to do what tasks or what areas we're each going to specialize in? And it kind of has just shaken out naturally.
And I think too, we've met with a lot of people. So when we were going to find a tax person, we struggled a little bit because we wanted someone that could to teach us and speak our language at a level that we could understand. And so part of it was finding like-minded individuals in our community that could really embrace what we do, but also explain to us those things that we didn't know yet. So I think that, again, that networking and finding the right fit for us was really crucial.
Okay. So as you begin to start this business up, where'd you find the initial clients?
Yeah. Well, thankfully, being teachers in the community, we had a pretty good reputation, and we're well known in our school community and our school district. So we obviously started there with our circle of influence, right? Our friends, our family, our school community, the school district. And then it kind of just trickled out and spread from there. So we had an open house when we launched the studio, and we were I think overwhelmingly surprised at the turnout. It was incredible. It was going to start off as just hey, our open house launch with just our friends and close family. And then it was well, maybe we should tell this group, and maybe we should tell this group, and maybe we should publish it on Facebook. And then we had, well over 100 people that attended. And so that kind of helped spread the news of what we were doing. And it kind of just trickled from there. So in the beginning, right, it was just a lot of word of mouth. But then we were connected with Motherhood Alliance, and that group has been phenomenal in our networking. And so, it was started there, and then referrals started coming in, more networking opportunities. And then we were connected with a lot of the counties in our area. And there's a program that the counties have called the CLTS waiver program, which helps support families in our community with services that their families need. And so we were able to connect with them, and now we have contracts with think 5 different counties in our area so that we can service the families that they work with. So all of it just kind of evolved on its own.
Oh, great. All right. We're at the position to take our first break. You're listening to Biz Talk with Score on WHBY, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Welcome back to Biz Talk with Score on WHBY. I'm Rick Sense along with Terry Pinch here today. And we'll get back to our guests in just a moment, but I'd like to take a moment to talk to you about SCORE Northeastern Wisconsin. SCORE Northeast Wisconsin serves an 18-county area in northeastern Wisconsin, plus the county of Menominee in Michigan. We have over 50 volunteers, each an expert in their field, offering entrepreneurs no cost and confidential mentoring. Those areas of expertise include IT, social media, marketing, cash flow, accounting, strategic planning, workflow, HR, retail, best practices, and many, many others. In order to register for a no-cost confidential mentoring session and or to learn more about the SCORE Northeastern Wisconsin program, please visit our website at score.org/Northeast Wisconsin. You can learn more about how the SCORE chapter can assist you with starting and or growing your business, and you can complete an application for a mentoring session. Simply complete the online form and submit it to SCORE. Within a few days, a SCORE mentor will be contacting you to set up a meeting. Remember, SCORE is no cost and offers experts who can offer you assistance in many different areas. To get started, visit our website at score.org/Northeast Wisconsin. Well, SCORE Northeast Wisconsin is always looking for new mentors. If you have experience that you would like to share with others, we'd love to talk to you. We welcome volunteers with experience in all aspects of business. Need your help, and your experience can make a real difference to their success. Go to score.org/Northeast Wisconsin. Click on the volunteer button and fill out the short application, and we'll get back to you to explain more. So thanks again for joining us on Biz Talk this morning. And I just have to ask our guests, and I don't know who wants to answer first, but Terry and I have the advantage of being, able to see you as we're talking, and you guys obviously are connected. I can just see it that you guys are very close friends. And oftentimes people that have close friends and they think maybe we should start a business worry about how that friendship can get impacted or be impacted by forming a business. Can you maybe walk listeners through a little bit of what you've experienced and how it's impacted your friendship?
So I have known Jen for 7 years now. Originally, she was my daughter's teacher, and we had worked together. And when she left the classroom, we stayed connected. We had some play dates at the park with our kids. And when she decided that she was doing, the kids' life coaching thing, my brain and my heart, I just was like, if there's one person on this planet that I would do this with, I implicitly trust her. And it has been a really special journey because I think we both worried. And every day we're like, ooh, are we going to get sick of each other? Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like what she says. But we're very open. We're very honest. We have set that groundwork for, hey, if something's bugging you, let me know. And honestly, we have grown closer. On the weekends when I don't get to talk to her, sometimes we just pick up the phone and
check in to see hey, I miss you. It's been 2 days. Yeah, it's really, I think I actually just said this to Mandy last week. I said, gosh, girl, I love you more now than I did before we were business partners. Our relationship has grown and evolved, and we have a very special connection that I'm sure not all business partners have. And so I think that it was definitely a match that was made. We were meant to do this together, and I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else. So yeah, it makes it really easy because it just flows. There's no conflict or challenges. We're able to communicate really, really well with each other.
All right. And I just, I think it's really cool that you guys have such a good friendship, and you would really encourage those people out there on the fence about it to take the dive, is what I'm hearing you say? Absolutely.
Absolutely. As long as both friends, are on the same page and know that it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, right? So making sure that you have that foundation of when things get tricky, we have to be able to talk about this. We have to be okay with having those hard conversations. And if both people are, then absolutely.
Making those norms or those agreements together that, if somebody is off, that kind of brings you back to, these are the norms that we set, and we are doing this to better the kids and families in our community. And going back to that, would be helpful. We haven't been there yet, but, maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's switch gears a little bit, and maybe let's talk about social media for the time we have left this segment. Could you maybe walk people through what your philosophy is and what you're using social media for at this point?
Yeah. So much learning with social media. We'll tell you, so much learning. We really had no idea what to do about social media in the beginning. So it's been a lot of trial and error, just kind of trying to figure it out. But we knew we wanted people to understand what kids life coaching looks like in real time. So a lot of what we put on our Facebook page, our Instagram, even LinkedIn is reels of us in coaching sessions or our skill building camps, so people can actually see videos of what it looks like. I think that's the best way to get an idea of how beneficial or how helpful it could be if you can actually see it in a video. So we have lots of reels.
Lots of dancing reels. We go coffee clubbing on Fridays
Mm-hmm.
and celebrate our wins, big and small. And that's kind of where we started with the reels, and people really enjoyed watching us drink coffee and dancing. So then we just were like, the reels, that must be it. So we kept posting those. I mean, we post every day, I think.
We do. We post daily. We like to try to have a balance of, some informational posts that kind of the teaching, right? We want to help inform the community and parents about, best practices and things that they could be doing that will help them at home with their kids. But also keeping it light with some of the fun things, and also letting them know about upcoming programs or events that we have going on. So there's a little bit of marketing in there, just for the awareness piece, but also a lot of education and just kind of fun too. So.
And having people ask, asking polls, things like that always gets your engagement out a little bit further, even if it's a random question like, hey, what's your favorite, flavor popsicle? Really helps to get other people to see that you exist in the social media world, and then all of a sudden your followers grow. So we've learned.
Yeah.
We did not know that. Our very first reels, we would spend hours putting together. Now that thing only takes us seconds.
Okay, we've reached the point for our second break. You're listening to Biz Talk and Score on WHBY. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Biz Talk with Score. We're joined this week by Jennifer Phillibeck and Mandy Rinne, and we'll be from Empowered Mind Kids Studio, and we'll be back talking to them in a minute. Before we get back to them, we're going to talk about a couple things going on in the education world from Score. The first thing is when you go to our website at score.org/Northeast Wisconsin, and you look at the top, there's a tab called Workshops and Events. And in there, you'll find literally hundreds of various videos and webinars that you can take, and you'll find some live events and activities too. And I was going to mention two things that are in there that would be of interest for you. First of all, one that's coming up, it's a live event, webinar, will be on February 18th at 11 o'clock, and it's a 1-hour event on cybersecurity for your small business. Just something that's becoming more and more prevalent in society is the need for protecting yourselves, and this is just an opportunity to go to learn more about it and understand why, for many small businesses, you need to get help from the right people to make sure you're putting in things to protect your system. So again, it's cybersecurity for your small business, and it's free. And it's February 18th at 11 o'clock. The other one I'm going to mention, it's something that I refer many of my clients to when I'm mentoring in Score, and it's called the Score Startup Roadmap. And what it is a series of 12 modules that walk you through everything you need to know about starting up a small business. It's pretty, they're not long modules, but they're ones you can do either in conjunction with a mentor or as you're on your own, just to learn more about what's going on. And I find for many people, it's better for them to kind of go through that type of what is involved in starting a business before they really get into the business plan. So again, that's the Score Startup Roadmap, and it's in the events, workshops and events tab, and that's under courses, and you'll find it there. So with that, we're going to get back to our discussion with the women from Empowered Minds Kids Studio. And the first thing we want to talk about is building on some of the discussions very early in the first segment. Let's start talking more about how you make a difference to clients. And starting with, why is the play so important to children, and how do you weave life coaching into that play?
So as teachers, we know that kids do learn best through play. Scientists say that it takes approximately 400 repetitions to create a new synapse in the brain, unless it is done in play, in which case that only takes 10 to 20 repetitions. Most of the time, we believe that's because kids are enjoying what they're doing, right? They don't even know that they are learning. So we have obstacle courses, we have basketball, we play Jenga games, all kinds of things, science experiments, and throughout that we infuse those life skills that they are needing from us as we go. So play is so important in the work that we do.
Right? Like we're teaching them about like dopamine and serotonin and cortisol and how it affects your brain and what it does to your body and how you can control that, like through a science experiment. So what they're going to walk away with and remember is like, oh, that really cool science experiment. And like, yeah, that's about my brain. And they might not know all the scientific words, but that's okay. Like that doesn't have to be what sticks. What they're going to stick with is what we really want them to learn, is that they're in control of, their brain, and they can switch over their thinking when they're having those negative thoughts. And so things like that, we try to make it really, really relevant and applicable to their age level, their interests. So no two children's coaching session is going to be the same. So we take their interests, like what are their hobbies, what gets them excited, and we kind of tweak our session to fit exactly what they're excited about. And then, I mean, what kid wouldn't love that, right? So yeah, the play piece is huge.
And are these sessions, are they all primarily individual one-on-one, or is there sometime group sessions too?
Yeah, so we have actually a few different opportunities. Initially, when we started off our business, we were thinking it was all just going to be individual one-on-one coaching sessions. And then we realized that being teachers, we really have a really great skill set of orchestrating a group of kids, and having it, kind of unfold organically in exactly the way that we would really like them to be learning in a group together. So we now have small group coaching sessions, with just groups of kids. We have skill building camps, which are groups of kids coming together. We have families that come together in groups. So multiple families are coming into the coaching space and learning together. So there's a few different opportunities. It can look a little bit different in all of those cases, but play is at center of all of them.
So when a new client comes in, how do you decide if it should be one-on-one versus small group versus a camps? And how do you design the program itself?
That's great.
Yeah, so we first have an initial phone call with the parent to just hear about their kiddos' strengths and the goals that they have for coaching. And that helps us kind of decide where we might recommend, whether it be a skill building camp or the individual coaching. If it is individual coaching, families take an assessment that go over 10 different areas of the kiddo's life. So healthy eating habits, sleeping patterns, confidence, toxic influences,
school, social, a wide variety of areas. So we can get a really, really good, clear picture of what that child's areas of strength are, but also the areas that they're going to need some coaching into. And so that helps us then develop their individualized coaching plan, if that's the route that family is choosing to go down. Now, there's some families that are like, my child needs a little boost, but like our whole family needs some help in like understanding what our roles and responsibilities are, or our family communication. We're just like off right now, and our family needs a little reset, or helping us like rediscover what's within us. So then we might say, well, we would encourage them to maybe join us for our family, our small group family coaching. So it's really based on what we hear that family needs. And then we kind of help encourage them or let them know of what opportunities there are that would fit what their goals are for coaching.
Okay. Well, and when you initially started the business, it was one-on-one with children. So then you added groups and you added parents and families to it. How long did it take you to look and say, we really need to add to what we're doing to make it better? And how did you go about doing that?
Yeah. So most businesses probably would be a little bit slower about this than us, but we launched in February with just one-on-one coaching. In April, we had our first family small group coaching, that we just saw that there was that need. In a few months, we're like, yep, okay, we're going to do a small group. Then in the summer, we launched our skill building camps with some summer camps. And then now we've continually, as we're working with community members and families that we're coaching, the parents are saying, gosh, but this is amazing for my kids and we love this, but I need help as a parent because this is hard. So then we were like, yeah, you're absolutely right. So now we're offering parent workshops. So, it just we've said there's a theme here that it's kind of everything has just evolved naturally. But we have been open to what we're hearing from the community, what we're hearing from families that we're working with, and being willing to try.
We got some feedback initially. So our program initially was designed for 7 to 13-year-olds. And we were getting so many phone calls from families and daycare centers saying that there were 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds really struggling with that dysregulation. So then Jen and I created a program for 4 to 6-year-olds to work on that kind of that emotional intelligence piece. So that has been really a great addition too. I mean, our goal is to help as many kiddos and families as possible because we know that this journey it's hard. And we promise that, that we will always walk that journey with families. We don't have all the answers. As moms, we do not get it right all the time. We really try, but we're human. And we just, we're creating that village of support, which, as grown-ups, as parents, we want that village for ourselves and our kids.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very honest and transparent with the families that we work with and that we chat with, that we say, we know a lot about what we're doing, but we are not perfect. We're moms ourselves and we mess up all the time. So we can be really real with you. And we know that if we're setting a coaching goal with a kiddo, and we can be really realistic with expectations because we also know what it's like when you go home, that it's not always sunshine and rainbows and it's not exactly how, it is in the coaching session. So we can be very authentic with families in that way too.
Okay. So let's talk now about what is the impact that you're looking for with children and what do you see from these sessions?
Well, each kiddo is different, I think. So I would say something that we get asked a lot are what are the kids' biggest needs? So some of the things that Jen and I are both seeing with our kids in coaching is that they're overly dependent on technology, a lot of anxiety, which, some of that could be coming from that pandemic, right? Where a lot of screens, there was no place to go. So we're seeing a lot of that. The emotion regulation piece is really challenging for kids. So teaching them skills and giving them tools to help regulate their emotions so it matches the space that they're in. We don't say that regulated is calm, right? There are times that regulation means calm, but being regulated means matching that tone or that environment that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're also, seeing that communicating your thoughts and your feelings is a really big challenge for kids sometimes. And so really coaching into first understanding what you're thinking and feeling, and then how can you effectively and positively communicate that with those around you to be able to advocate for yourself and be able to advocate for what you need, but without, as we say, flipping your lid or losing your cool and having that big explosion, or even for other kiddos, rather than like stuffing it down and kind of like holding their feelings and thoughts inside of them and not being able to communicate them in a safe way. So, for every kiddo, the outcome is different. Like there's no two kids are the same. So, that's where like we kind of go back to that assessment that the families take in the very beginning, and we see like, what is that kiddo's areas that we really want to lift them up. And so the nice thing about our coaching program is that we have that assessment. So in the beginning, we can see where they're at. And then when they are finished with coaching, which we say you're never finished, we'll be at your graduation, because we never will go away. Not once we have that relationship, we are there. We're part of their family. But, when our coaching program wraps up, the family can take that assessment again and see that growth that their child has made in all of those 10 areas. So, we're just really we know confidently without even like a doubt that by the time that their coaching program has wrapped up, they will have found their strengths, and they will feel very, very confident in them and know how to use them to the best of their ability in all areas of their life. So, and that's a process, right? They're not going to get it right every single time. And being okay with that, knowing that it's a journey and that they're growing.
Okay. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about some of the programs and events you have. And let's first go into the camps. Could you talk about some of the camps you offer and what the objectives are? So I know there's Connects, Serenity, Emotion Detectives, Culinary Kids. Let's start with Culinary Kids.
Man, we're really excited about this one. So one of the components of what we do as kids life coaches is to help kids make healthy choices, as well as have independent skills. So we are offering in April, I believe, Camp Culinary Kids, where we are going to be making some healthy meals together and teaching them basic kitchen skills that they can do, and also kind of like building up their confidence and maybe building up mom and dad's confidence in them to allow them to do some of these things. So we're excited for that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Helping them like understand what healthy eating looks like, and understanding about the ingredients, and kind of just understanding more about like what your body needs to feed it to be healthy. Just increase that education and awareness at that young age of what healthy food choices look like. So yeah, we're excited. That'll be a fun one.
Okay. Another one I saw out there, we won't go through them all, but I want to give listeners a feel for what you're doing. The Emotion Detectives Camp. What's your objective there?
Yeah, so this camp is for our 4 to 6 year olds, and it kind of is a little bit of a sneak peek of our Emotion Foundation program that we created. So the Emotion Detective Camp really uses the little spot of emotion. I'll let you talk about this. Is like Mandy's baby here.
So Diane Elber is an author that created this series of books, and I have had the amazing opportunity to work with her over the last few years, just to do some editing and to give some thought creation to those books. So we have some really cool puppets, and they are, your basic emotions of happy, sad, mad, but then we also bring in anxiety, and we bring in confidence. And we're helping those littles name it. We always say name it to tame it, right? So they can name and see what that looks like on themselves and others. And then that second step would be, how does that feel in your body? So that's just kind of like the foundational, like, quick fun camp that we do for that.
There's dancing in that camp, and we have like arts and crafts. And so every camp is obviously very like engaging and fun. And there's always a take home component that the kids get to have. So they're doing bubbles and all kinds of things to be able to help teach them about regulating their emotions, and just understanding what those feelings and emotions mean.
Okay. So we've talked a little bit about how you brought parents in, but let's talk just in a little detail about what the parenting workshops are and what you talk about during those meetings.
Yeah, so actually our very first one will be coming up soon, and that one we've just heard a lot from parents that they're like, well, like what do I do with this behavior, these behavior challenges that we're having at home, and like the defiance or the disrespect, and so that workshop is going to be all about like kind of the parent mindset about when you're having these power struggles with your child, how to help yourself as a parent. That's why it's called parenting, right? It's not called childing. It's called parenting because we have to do the work in ourselves first so that we can show up as our best self so that we can engage with our children and not have that power struggle. So that workshop's going to be a lot about, that parenting piece, with the power struggle, and then also, just the tools of how to have that conversation, how to approach that conversation with your child so that it doesn't explode and blow up into that, back and forth.
Okay. We've reached the point for our final break. You're listening to Biz Talk with Score on WHBY, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Welcome back to Biz Talk with Score on WHBY. I'm Rick Sense along with Terry Pinch this morning, and happy Saturday once again. Before we go on with our interview with our guests, I'd like to just take this time to thank our sponsors and donors who bring Biz Talk with Score to you each weekend. Couldn't present Biz Talk without their generous support. Thank you to Hailing & Associates. Hailing & Associates helps small businesses and individuals not just prepare tax returns, but plan ahead, helping you minimize taxes for this year and beyond. Hailing & Associates, personal connection, positive results. Thank you to Johnson Financial Group. Wherever you are in life or the life of your business, Johnson Financial Group works with you to understand your goals, matching the right banking and wealth services to help you complete your mission. Thanks to the Business News for promoting our program in the biweekly business newspaper serving Northeast Wisconsin. The paper is delivered biweekly and contains relevant and useful information about the business community in Northeast Wisconsin. We would also like to recognize the David L. and Rita E. Nelson Fund within the Community Foundation for the Fox Valley region for their generous donation in support of Biz Talk and Score Northeast Wisconsin. So, Mandy, Jen, I'd like to just maybe start by giving you the opportunity to tell people how, if they're interested in more programming and learning more, how they can get a hold of you to learn more.
Absolutely. So we have a beautiful website that we would love for them to check out. It's empoweredmindskidstudio.com. Head over there. It has a really great information about all of our services and our programs. It has a contact us link that they can send us an email and reach out to us. Also, our Facebook page is a great place to be able to see in action what we're doing. And also they can send us a message on there as well.
I'm just going to throw this big one of those big questions at you here to wrap up the program. What does the future hold for you two? What are you thinking where this is all going to lead?
Our vision that is bigger, right, than we could hope to embrace is to normalize mental health. I think that so many of us know how important it is to take care of our mind, our body, and our heart. But to normalize that it's okay to say that you're struggling. It's okay to say that you have a challenge, and that just like we give coaching lessons for baseball or hockey, right? It should be just as normal to say like, hey, my kid needs some coaching for confidence or emotion regulation, and to just normalize that it's okay to feel how you feel, and it's okay to talk about it and not hide behind that joy-filled life that we often see on social media that we know that sometimes has some other things behind it.
In all your years of education, have you seen improvements along those lines?
Absolutely. I think that in schools, they start talking about that social emotional learning piece, which, I mean, prior to 5 years ago, that wasn't even in existence. So there are definitely steps that are headed in the right direction. And I think remembering that those relationships and taking care of your mental health are the foundation for learning, that once kiddos are in control of their emotions and they know that they can trust you, right, they will learn all the other pieces. So I think that's the part where education could go.
Okay. And to just wrap up here, we're almost out of time, but What would you tell somebody out there who's on the fence about whether or not they should pick up the phone and reach out and call you and ask you about your program? What would you say to them to put them at ease?
Well, I would say call us. We love to chat on the phone, and we're very real.
Yeah, we always say call us old fashioned, but we love to be able to connect and hear your story. And so then, we can always help, drive the decision or the ideas in whatever direction, just be able to give some guidance or some support in whatever way that might mean. So,
We'd like to thank you both for being on the show today. It's been a great story, and it's a 1-year-old business that's changed dramatically from over that year, and they've been very successful, and it's really great to hear this story and how the things you're doing. So we really appreciate having you on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Okay. So for listeners, you've been listening to Biz Talk with SCORE. You can go to our website at score.org/Northeast Wisconsin, and you'll find a space on the homepage where you can click and go find our shows from the last 5 or 6 years. This show will be out there next Wednesday, and so you can listen to it again because Mandy and Jen were so great to have on. You'll want to hear them twice. So you will also find it on iTunes and Spotify and other podcatchers on that same day on the Wednesday. So thank you, everybody. Thanks have a great rest of the weekend, and have a good day. Bye.